The Northern Territory government has implemented a youth curfew in Alice Springs after a family dispute sparked a riot in the town. Joining us is the Shadow Minister for Indigenous Australians, Jacinta. Jacinta, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks for your time. So first of all, do you support this curfew?
For the interim, look, I support this measure because it's really what is needed in the community. There needs to be some kind of reprieve from the ongoing activity on our streets, the violence, and the youth sort of out of control. So, yes, I do welcome this as an immediate interim measure.
Is 2 weeks enough? Is it going to work?
Well, you know, this is really a short-term band-aid solution. The government needs to actually seriously consider once and for all what the long-term looks like, and also so does the federal government, the Prime Minister. I mean, I've been banging on Linda Burney's door to try to get this government to invest in the school where most of our problem kids, I wouldn't call them problem kids, they're disadvantaged, they've had tough backgrounds, but those kids that are most marginalised, there's a school there that has an answer to some of these problems, that is prepared to work with families and to make sure that those kids have a safe place to go at night so they're not out on the street committing crime.
Just one more on the response from yesterday. The dozens of extra police who are being sent in, is that enough to be able to control things?
Look, we'll see. Time will only tell. We have had a shortage of police. Prime Minister Albanese promised last year that he'd have 30 extra police. So when last I spoke to police in the Northern Territory, they said they're actually down 30 police, so that would have required another 60 police. And there's a shortage elsewhere where those police have come from. So really, it is only an interim measure. But look, I want to thank Matt Cunningham for his hard work and the pressure he's put on in highlighting the truth for a very long time. This is only a slight win for this situation, with the pressure put on the government, but more needs to be done. He
is a fine reporter, Matt Cunningham, and we'll be speaking to him live from Alice Springs in about 20 minutes, Jacinta. But we spoke to Matt Patterson yesterday, the mayor, and he said basically it's very amateur what's going on with the local governments, the territory government at the moment. He wants federal resources, he wants Defence Force to come in, federal police to come in. Is that something that you would echo? Do you want to see that as well?
Look, I think, some sort of presence like that, and if it is the ADF, because as I said, this is a humanitarian crisis, if they were to be there, to have a presence, just to maintain order on our streets, yeah, I support the mayor in that. I know Matt has he's been beside himself and he's had a terrible time, and I absolutely, understand his frustrations, and I'm grateful we've got a mayor such as him in Alice Springs.
So back to Linda Burney now. She has said that the feds have made a big investment. She's heartened by community leadership, but there is no magic bullet to this. What are your thoughts on those comments?
Oh, look, it's pie in the sky stuff. It's wishful thinking. You can throw money at a situation, but it does not mean it'll fix things. And this is why we've been calling for an audit into this spending, because we know it's not producing outcomes. We know organisations that are receiving the money continually and not producing outcomes, and yet they're the organisations that make sure, Labor are voted in at every election. So we really need to take a fine-tooth comb to how all this is unfolding. It's not good enough to just say, oh, we've invested, everything's going to be fine.
Well, the PM infamously was there for 4 hours last time. Does he or even Linda Burney need to go back?
Yeah, look, I had a community up in the top end contact me last week because they were beside themselves that the Prime Minister had gone to their small community to deliver a funding announcement. But basically, they wanted to speak to the Minister, they wanted to speak to the Prime Minister about their issues, and they were promised that they would get that conversation. They flew in, did the media conference and took off. And that community is reeling at that. They need to spend real time and listen to people on the ground, and they're just not doing that.
Okay, so just a final point here to wrap up, Jacinta. The investments in schools that you think would help solve this in the long term rather than the short term, how would that go about?
Yeah, look, there are those schools that I think specialise in taking care of some of our most marginalised kids and in sort of boarding school arrangements, or seek to be able to do that. There's also those that have boarding school arrangements already. I think those schools need to be supported more firmly. I think we also need to consider that some kids might, if they've got the opportunity to, can do their schooling outside the Northern Territory in boarding schools. You know, the AIEF Foundation is doing a remarkable job, but education really is key for these kids, and freedom of choice as well. And they're just not getting that. They're not even getting safe home lives at the moment.
Jacinta Price, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.